Gary Neville and Roy Keane have shared dressing rooms, trophies, pressure, and some of the biggest nights in Manchester United history. But live on ITV, the two former teammates suddenly found themselves on opposite sides of a heated football debate. And the name at the center of it all? John McGinn. The Scotland captain is heading into what could be the biggest tournament of his career, leading his country into their first World Cup since 1998. But while Neville was full of praise, Keane was not ready to go that far. One called McGinn a player who could fit into most Premier League teams. The other called that an exaggeration. And just like that, a calm ITV discussion turned into a classic Neville versus Keane clash. John McGinn arrives at the World Cup with momentum behind him. The Aston Villa midfielder has enjoyed a strong season under Unai Emery, lifting the Europa League with the West Midlands club and strengthening his status as one of Scotland's most important players. Now, he is preparing to captain Scotland on the world's biggest stage. For Scotland, this moment is huge. They have not played at a World Cup since 1998. A whole generation of fans has grown up without watching Scottish players walk out at the tournament. That changes now. Scotland begin their campaign against Haiti on Sunday, before facing Morocco and Brazil in the group stage. It is a tough road. It is a massive challenge. And for John McGinn, it may be a once-in-a-career chance to lead his country at this level. That was the backdrop when Gary Neville began speaking about him on ITV. And Neville did not hold back. He made it clear that he is a major admirer of McGinn's game, saying he absolutely loves the player and believes McGinn could play in most Premier League teams if he were at the club. Neville praised his technical ability, his understanding of his role, his adaptability, and his willingness to take the ball under pressure. In Neville's view, those qualities could be vital for Scotland, because at a tournament like this, it is not enough to simply work hard. Scotland will need players who can stay calm, receive the ball, protect possession, and help the team breathe when pressure comes. And Neville clearly sees McGinn as one of those players. But Roy Keane had a very different reaction. Keane listened to Neville's praise and then pushed back. For Keane, Neville had gone too far. He called it a bit of an exaggeration and said he would not go as far as claiming McGinn could walk into any team. Keane was careful not to dismiss McGinn completely. He described him as an excellent player, a very good player, and a brilliant professional. But the question for Keane was about levels. Was McGinn really in the bracket of the top Premier League midfielders? Keane was not convinced. That was the tension. Neville saw a player with the intelligence, adaptability, and technical qualities to fit into top sides. Keane saw a strong professional, but not necessarily someone who should be placed among the elite midfielders in the league. And that difference of opinion made the exchange stand out, because this was not just a debate about one player. It was about how we judge footballers. Is consistency enough? Is leadership enough? Is being vital for club and country enough? Or does a player need to dominate at the very highest level before being mentioned alongside the Premier League's best? For Scotland fans, the timing of this conversation could not be more dramatic. McGinn is not just entering another international tournament. He is captaining Scotland at their first World Cup in nearly 30 years. He knows what this means. Speaking before the tournament, McGinn talked about the excitement surrounding Scottish players again. He said it puts a smile on his face to see children looking up to players from their own country on the world's biggest stage. He also pointed out that a generation has missed out. But now, a new generation will finally see Scotland represented again. That is what makes this moment bigger than one ITV debate. For Neville and Keane, it was an argument about football standards. For Scotland, it is about pride, history, and a chance to inspire. So, was Gary Neville right to praise John McGinn so highly? Or was Roy Keane right to say the praise went too far? That question will now follow McGinn into the tournament. Against Haiti, Morocco, and Brazil, Scotland will need leadership. They will need composure. They will need players who can handle pressure when the world is watching. And John McGinn will be right at the center of it. Neville believes he has the qualities to belong at the top. Keane is still not convinced. But the World Cup has a way of settling debates. For McGinn, this is more than just a chance to prove a pundit wrong. It is a chance to lead Scotland into history, to give young fans someone